Here we go then. So another video, and this is my Walcom Slim X Lite. It's my primary wet on wet gun. It's a great gun, I just don't use it that often, so basically it's been promoted or demoted, whichever way you look at it, to wet on wet gun. And this BMW B45 requires a dark grey, so we're on with that. I believe this is G7, which is the darkest in PPG, but I'm still getting used to the PPG system, so here we go. And this is weird as well. The car's done in a different colour primer, the Eagle Eye View Spot, which again doesn't help with the colour issues that I was going on about in the previous videos. It's a bit of a, I don't know, I didn't prep this, so I didn't get to put the primer on it. I suppose I could wet on wet it. I don't know if I do in this video. This one's a while ago. So far behind. I've got everything going on with PainTeX at the moment, getting ready to launch a new product. Working, being a dad, being a husband, all that good stuff that I keep going on about. But it's exciting. It's exciting times, and that's why this video's out late. But obviously it's not late after it's gone up, because, you know, depending on when you watch it. But yeah, I'm trying to batch record. You see I'm pointing out here some of the factory primer wasn't that nice on the bumper, which is why I'm wetting it, but the prepper had gone to town on it, and it's left some big chunky scratch marks in there, which I have to address. But the wet on wet's really good. This has got a plastic additive in it as well, which means it's going to be flexible, so that because it's a plastic part and it will move, it will have its own sort of flexion points. The primer and the paints that go on top will go with it. And you see here the primer there, that's probably, I don't know, looks like G5 that's on there, the middle of the road one. But luckily this paint covered quite well, so it wasn't a big issue. Not like some of the issues that I've been having with it, just matching the paint. And this is a really interesting view as well. Let me know in the comments what you think about this kind of view with the gun here. Using the Walcom Evo meter on the gun, the 360 TrueLight Evo meter. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it just helped me see what I'm doing. This booth again is quite dark, so this torch has become really sort of valuable to me. Here's a better look at it as well from the helmet cam. I'm using the one visit modifier as well, just to help. It makes the paint a little bit helps you put it on wetter. I don't think it helps with the opacity much. Me and the other painters were talking about that the other day. Even though you've put one visit modifier in it, it still takes 3 coats on certain colours. And understandably, looking at this video, you know, if you're a Repco, well, you've got the wrong grey shade on, of course, that, you know, that's not going to help either. But it's I don't know why it's called one visit modifier when everything needs at least 2 coats. Again, if you're following everything by the book, then it should be alright. But I've found other people have said that often the computer will suggest the wrong ground coats and stuff. And I do feel like I seen a comment the other day. Someone was talking about applicators and painters, and to be honest, I feel a little bit like an applicator. I've been blessed by the Exalta systems, and they are so good and they are so accurate. I've put all of my effort on applying the paint and not so much having to learn the system. Like I say, I'm in love with the Exalta products. They're so easy to use. You don't really need to learn how to tint toners anymore, and tint your base coat with the toners anymore, and take this one in and that one out and adjust it, and then do 1,000 spray out cards to make sure that you're in the ballpark and it can be blended and all that stuff. We were speaking about some of the colour issues we had. Another lad was painting a Pearl bumper Friday just gone when this video was supposed to go up. And he was on about his application. him and another painter were looking at how he puts his powder coats on, and they apply them differently between each other, so that could be a problem. Is one applying it one way and one applying it a different way and coming out with a different result, so they can't trust each other's spray out cards, and it's just a nightmare. You shouldn't have to. It shouldn't be that hard anymore. You know, the technology's come so far that we don't have to go in and manually tint colours. We shouldn't need to do that anymore. That's why these cameras are available and things like that. I've done it before, tinting them, and it's not as hard as everybody makes out. Everyone's saying, well, you know, if it needs to be more red, you don't grab any red. There's likely there'll be a red in the tint itself, and then you use that toner to add more red, but then you've got to add bits and bobs. You've got to try and figure out, you know, how it affects the flop and the side and the face and all that stuff. It's a pain in the bum. So being in the position where I've had like the Exalta products, Sandox, Speedsecker and all that, they kind of do it all for you. And I do feel like I've become an applicator, but I don't know, what I'm trying to get at as well is like if we were to go to a rep with our problems, he's going to say, well, you'd never paint the car without having a spray out in front of you. But we all know we're in a sort of, this isn't as fast paced as some of the places I've been, but the object is to get numbers out the door. There's always somebody in this booth painting, whether it's me or any of the other painters that are there, whoever else is prepping, and it's still go, go, go. You still need to get them through. This shop has to pay bills, it has to pay wages, it's, you know, it's got its own targets, and we can't stand around all day doing spray out cards and tinting it and adjusting it and going, oh, I'm a proper painter because I know how to tint stuff. I shouldn't be swearing either. I need to try and bleep that out if I remember. But I don't know. Again, I'm not impressed. I think it takes time, and you know, I've heard a few people saying as well, every paint system has its issues, but I don't even know if everybody knows, but you can re-camera your spray out cards. Sickens has got a good one of this. Obviously Exalta and Speeds, because I'm used to that system, they've got the same thing. If you've got a spray, you do your spray out card of this B45 and it's not right, you've took a reading from the car and now you've got your spray out of that reading. Now what you would do is you would camera your spray out card and you would tell the computer, I'm cameraing the spray out card because what you've offered me isn't correct, and it'll work out the difference between what the reading it took off the car and the reading it give you as a spray out, and it'll create a new formula, and 9 times out of 10 that's bang on. I had it with Sickens and it was giving you edge to edge matches then. So again, saying that you need to be able to tint stuff, and you know, that's all old school pants that you don't really need to worry about. So I do feel like an applicator now, but I've heavily relied on these systems, and because you can lean on them, it's like having a good wingman. You can just kind of let your guard down, you can go into your sort of safe space, and you can go about your day painting cars and just focus on getting the job in and out, and you know, sort of performing, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to sort of push the numbers out the door to make sure that the site's earn enough money to stay open. It's very, very different if you've got a small shop and your overheads aren't that big and you ain't got loads of employee bills to pay and wages and all that good stuff, you know. And you might have, I'm not going to say a cheaper paint scheme, but if you have sort of an older scheme where you don't get a camera and you don't get so much support from the technical reps and all that stuff, it's very, very valuable to be able to tint your own colours. But you probably learn that more as a necessity rather than, you know, we are sort of production painters. I've had people call me a production painter before in the past, and I don't care. We have to get numbers out. I can do a show car finish for you, and I'll tell you what a show car finish is. It's probably these 2, maybe 3 coats of clear, depending on what you're using. It's knocked back, and then it's flow coated, like John does. Big up, John. And you do your flow coats, and then you polish the hell out of them, and they look lovely. That's what a show car finish is. They're not done that much differently. You'll have to pay extra attention to your how smooth your filler is, you know, how sort of flat the jobs are. I don't want any ripples. And And you can't really get away with that in this industry anymore anyway. If you've got a little wobble in the panel, everybody picks it out, and then, you know, you're a dog's dinner then. Oh, you're no good, this, that, you know. The industry is becoming a bit of a nightmare at the minute. Like I say, there's not that many skilled staff around. You've got no one to lean on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the future of this industry is going. I have seen a couple of clips floating about. There's a Chinese manufacturer that's built a robot that actually goes in the booth on a track system, and it'll work its way around the car. So I was kind of joking about this before, that as painters, we have always had cars painted by robots in the industry, but now they've never tried to replace our jobs. They've never tried to get rid of us. They've never said, oh, because they've always had robots. They've always been painted by robots, but they can't see what they're doing. They can't pick out nibs. They can't, you know, spot mistakes. They can't sort of fix things on the fly. They just paint. So I've always felt quite safe in this industry with that. And I was joking about it not that long ago, that it was, you know, we're not going to be replaced. We still need people doing it by hand. And then seeing this little robot flying around, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's going to change the world. But it's probably because there is a skill shortage. I know Mercer have got robots that they're, I was going to say training to prep, but I have seen robots sanding cars and stuff, and I wonder if that's just one of these things where people are going to be trained to sort of manage the robots, make sure that there's, if it's a prepping robot, that it's got a clean sanding disc on it and what have you. And obviously, as good as a robot is, can a robot tint the paint? And see, because they can't see the spray out cards, they can't tell if the colour matches. I know they've got sort of robots. Exalta's new Iris, it looks incredible. That's their paint mixing sort of system, where you sort of camera all your jobs and you line them up, and then you just put a new can on the machine, and it will sort of mix your paint for you, which is incredible. Again, in these fast-paced environments, if you've got a skilled technician, you need him in the booth working, not out mixing paint or pretending that he's some sort of paint hero because he knows how to tint colours. But anyway, I'm living the dream over here. Putting my clear coat on now with a Porphis 717. It's a 1.3. I get a lot of questions about these, and people seem to be really enjoying them, those who have bought them. I love mine. Had a question this morning about the sort of the internals. Does it have any plastic seals? It does have a plastic sort of seal in behind the fluid tip, a bit like the SATAs used to. I don't know if the SATAs still do. I think the 55X does have them on. I'm not sure about the new ones. But yeah, it's just a little plastic seal there. But everything else is sort of machined metal. I don't know if it's brass or something, but it's all nice, real nice machine finish parts in there. So they're all sort of perfectly sealed together once it's all sort of tightened down. But yeah, I keep going on about it in the comments as well. Oli Paints, shout out to Oli. Joel, shout out to Joel. That's his name. He left his in the gun wash for a week and had no issues. He was in there cleaning guns in and around it, and it had no issues. And the fact that Porphis actually sell the spare parts and or anything that you might need for this gun, fluid tips, different needle nozzle sizes, because that's all available, that gave me the confidence to buy these guns. And seeing how people were putting on nice finishes with it and stuff, I thought, you know, it's worth a go. They are cheap enough. They're not cheap, but they're not your big budget sort of DeVille, SATA, Walcom, Segola, that kind of. They're not that kind of money at all. You'd probably get two of these and change for the price of them. So that's what I did actually. I got two of these for, at the time it was £405, sort of UK money. And they're worth every penny. Again, I recommend them. Actually, I've got a discount code if you want some. It's put in PainTeX, PAINTEX at your checkout, and you get 5% off. I think that worked out to sort of the delivery price for me. So yeah, they're definitely worth a punt. I'm not using the base coat as much. Again, this I'm going back to the Walcoms because I really like the 360 True Light. That is a mouthful. I keep wanting to call it the Evo meter, but the Evo meter is just a gauge on the side. They do have a version with sort of a distance gauge on one and without the other, but I keep calling mine the Evo meter. But yeah, I'm starting to favour using that a lot more. Again, this booth, especially back here or back then, we've sort of refreshed the booth and cleaned it up now. But I tend to like using that torch a lot, so I've gone back to using my Walcoms quite a bit, which is nice. But you just see, I'm about to wrap this video up. Again, edges, edges, edges. And yeah, I've just gone on a rant about the industry, but it's kind of how I'm feeling at the minute. So we'll do what we can. We sort of smile and nod and get on with our job here. But I've got some exciting things coming from PainTeX at the minute. Go and check out the website, www.paintex.shop, and see what we've got going on. I don't even know what to say now. It's hard when you're not going on a rant about stuff. But yeah, we're just about done with this one. And yeah, I don't know. I might even re-record this. We'll see what it's like. Edges, check your edges. Right, guys. See you in the next one.